Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm going to show you a targeted 5-step rescue mission that gets right to the core problems of a neglected garden. So, if you're ready to turn your garden disaster into your proudest accomplishment, stick with me. The first step in any comeback story is figuring out what you're really up against. You can't fix a problem if you don't know what it is. So before you pull a single weed, take a walk and get brutally honest with your garden. Which plants are actually dead and which are just stressed out? Be a tough critic. Which ones are worth saving? Snap a few pictures and take notes. You'll want them later to appreciate your incredible transformation. Now look at the soil. Is it hard as a rock? If you try to stick a shovel in, does it fight you every single inch? That's compacted soil, and it's a major villain because it literally suffocates plant roots, cutting off their air and water. You might even see cracks on the surface, which is a dead giveaway for severe dehydration. Or you could have the opposite problem, puddles that won't go away, signaling bad drainage. Next, let's identify the enemy, the weeds. What kind of uninvited guests are you dealing with? Are they little annuals with shallow roots? Or are they deep-rooted thugs like crabgrass or bindweed that seem to have a will to live stronger than anything else? Knowing your opponent helps you plan your attack. Remember, weeds are greedy thieves, stealing water and nutrients from the plants you actually want. Finally, take a look at the environment. How much sun does this spot really get? Be honest. Sometimes a garden fails simply because the plants are in the wrong place. By taking 30 minutes for this assessment, you're not just staring at a mess anymore. You're building a battle plan. You're going from overwhelmed to empowered. All right, plan in hand? Good. Now for the most satisfying part, the purge. This is where we clear out the chaos and create a beautiful blank canvas. Start by yanking out all the junk, dead plants, crusty old mulch, rocks, and any other debris. Be ruthless. If a plant is brown, brittle, and has no green when you scratch the stem, it's a goner. And a pro tip, don't compost anything that looks diseased. You do not want those problems coming back to haunt you later. Just get it out. Now, for the weeds. You have to be thorough here. Don't just snap them off at the surface. You've got to get the roots. A garden fork is your best friend for those deep-rooted nightmares. It lets you loosen the soil and pull the whole evil thing out. Trust me, the extra effort now saves you hours of weeding later. What about the plants you want to save? Gently dig them up and pop them in a shady spot. I like to wrap their roots in a damp cloth to keep them from drying out while they wait. This is also the perfect time to give them a haircut. Trim off any dead or yellowing leaves and broken branches. This helps the plant focus its energy on new, healthy growth once it's back in its new home. You might hear some people say to leave old, non-diseased roots in the soil to decompose. That can be a great strategy for no-dig gardens, but for a fast turnaround like this, I say get 'em out. It removes any risk of lingering pests or diseases. At the end of this stage, your garden bed will be completely clear. I know it might look even worse than before, but don't panic. This is the quiet before the beautiful green comeback. Okay, listen up, because this is the most critical step of the entire rescue mission. Seriously, you can have the best plants money can buy, but if your soil is dead, your garden will never thrive. Healthy soil is everything. Neglected soil is basically compacted, starved, and lifeless. Our job is to bring it back. First, let's tackle that compaction. We need to loosen the soil and get some air in there. Air is non-negotiable for healthy roots. Grab a garden fork, push it as deep as you can into the soil, and just rock it back and forth. Work your way across the entire bed. You don't need to turn the soil completely over like you would with a tiller. We're just aerating it, creating little highways for air, water, and nutrients. This one simple action makes a huge difference. Now, it's time to add what I call the kitchen sink of soil amendments. This is how we supercharge it. The single most important ingredient is organic matter, and compost is the undisputed champion. It fixes soil structure, holds onto water, and it's full of life-giving microbes. Spread a nice, thick layer, about 2 to 3 inches, over the whole bed. If you can, a mix of 2 parts compost to 1 part well-rotted manure is fantastic for an extra nutrient kick. But why stop there? For a rapid revival, let's throw in a few more power-ups. I love adding worm castings. They're a straight-up superfood for plants. Bone meal is amazing for encouraging strong root growth, and kelp meal provides a whole buffet of trace minerals. Finally, I'll toss in a balanced, slow-release organic fertilizer to make sure my plants have a steady food supply. Quick tip, If your soil was so dry that water beat it up and ran off, a condition called hydrophobia, you need to rehydrate it before you add anything. A great trick is to dig a small trench down the middle of the bed, fill it slowly with water, and just let it soak deep. Do it a couple of times until the soil finally starts accepting moisture again. Once all your goodies are on top, just use a rake to gently mix them into the top few inches of soil. You're not aiming for a perfect blend, just getting all that goodness incorporated where the new roots will live. And just like that, you've transformed dead dirt into a living, breathing foundation for your new garden. By the way, if you're finding these soil secrets genuinely helpful, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know I'm on the right track and helps more people find these simple gardening solutions. Now let's protect all this hard work. You've done the heavy lifting, and now it's time to protect your investment. This step is all about two things: mulching and watering. They sound simple, but getting them right is the key to making this whole thing last. First, mulch. Think of mulch as a protective blanket for your brand new garden bed. Spreading a 2 to 3 inch layer of organic mulch, like shredded leaves, straw, or bark chips, does so many good things. It holds in all the moisture you're about to add, which means you'll water less. It smothers weeds by blocking sunlight from any seeds you might have kicked up. It also keeps the soil temperature regulated, protecting roots from scorching heat or winter cold. And the best part? As it breaks down, it keeps feeding your soil, continuing the improvement process for you. Just make sure to keep the mulch a few inches away from the stems of your plants to prevent any rot. Once your mulch is down, it's time to give the bed a deep, thorough drink. And I don't mean a light sprinkle. You want to soak the entire bed so that the water penetrates through the mulch, through the amendments, and deep into the soil below. This settles everything, gets rid of air pockets, and tells all those new microbes in the soil that it's time to get to work. Some gardeners might tell you to let the bed rest for a week now, and sure, if you have the time, that's great. But for this weekend warrior mission, a deep watering is all you need to get the party started. Your bed is now prepped, protected, and ready for its new residence. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the rebirth. It's time to bring back the green. But hold on, before you start digging, take a second to plan your layout. Think about how big your plants will get when they're mature and give them the space they need to shine. Okay, grab those plants you set aside, or any new ones you bought, and get them ready for their new home. If a plant is root-bound, meaning the roots are all tangled in the shape of the pot, gently tease them apart with your fingers. This tells the roots it's time to spread out into all that amazing new soil you just built. Dig a hole for each plant that's a little bigger than its root ball. Place the plant in the hole, making sure the top of the root ball is level with the soil around it. Fill the hole back in, gently pressing the soil around the plant to get rid of any big air pockets. And listen, choosing the right plants here is the secret to a garden that doesn't need constant babysitting. Match the plant to the place. If it's a hot, sunny spot, go for drought-tolerant plants. If it's shady, pick shade lovers. You're setting yourself up for success by working with nature, not against it. Maybe add a few small evergreens or perennials for some year-round color and structure. Once everything is planted, give them all another good drink of water to help them settle in. And that's it. Step back and admire what you've done. Just 48 hours ago, this was a depressing, weed-choked patch of dirt. Now it's a clean, healthy, and beautiful garden, poised for an absolute explosion of growth. Look at that transformation, from a source of stress to a source of pride, all in one weekend. This 5-step process is a foolproof formula for bringing any sad garden back to life. Just remember the mantra: assess, purge, amend, mulch, and replant. It's about being strategic, focusing on building incredible soil from the ground up, and making smart choices. You don't have to be a master gardener to do this. You just need a weekend and the desire to get your hands a little dirty. And the best part? This isn't just a quick fix. By investing in your soil's health, you've created a resilient, low-maintenance garden that will be so much easier to care for all season long. Just remember to top up the compost and mulch every year to keep that soil rich and happy. If you found these secrets helpful, give this video a like and think about subscribing for more simple, effective gardening guides. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your garden right now? Drop it below and let's figure it out together. Now go out there and rescue your garden.